Welcome to SithTalk, bringing you the news from Star Wars The Old Republic and beyond. With your host, Kevin and Dak. Join us as we explore the galaxy and take on the Republic in a galaxy not so far away.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 3. We're on episode 3 of Sith Talk. You know, all the shit we had to do yesterday threw me off. I'm White Sword, or Kevin, and that's Dak. And so we are here with episode 3. You know, we want to make it, so last week's episode was posted, I think it was a Wednesday, right? We posted that last Wednesday?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy with all the technical issues and then having to re-edit it.
Oh, yeah. We mostly want to try to post our podcast on Monday. It's technically 12:05 Pacific Standard Time, a.m. That's usually by the time we record, edit it, and post it. So we want to get it out a little before
everybody else.
Exactly, that too. Speaking of that, we're pumping out the podcast. This is our third one. And we've already had to spend money, which we kind of, I didn't think it was going to take off so quickly. Podomatic were just shooting up through their numbers. We're number 20 as of 10 minutes ago when we checked. And moving up the rank over podcast in general in Podomatic. And this is great, except I'm having to spend money I didn't want to spend. But that's part of it. That's part of it. You want to do something good. You want to put effort in there. You got to do it.
Yeah, well, you know, especially we're moving up, man. Maybe we'll pick up a sponsor or two. We can eventually get somebody there. I mean, obviously we're throwing out Podomatic every time we turn around, but that's kind of just the deal with our host. We will eventually pick up sponsors as we move through the ranks at Podomatic, and hopefully we'll start moving up there into iTunes as well.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's where I think when you start picking up sponsors is where it comes through, is when they look at your iTunes rating. So if you are listening to us and you did download us off iTunes or you're listening to, just head over there, give us 5 stars, tell us how much you love us. And we did get one review, and I don't have iTunes up, so that doesn't help us right now. You don't have iTunes up, do you?
I don't, but I'm bringing it up as we speak, so give me a couple seconds here. I know it was from ex-Lieutenant Shiny. He actually doesn't play the game that we talk about, which is interesting because he listens to our podcast. It says here that, you know, I don't play SOTOR. He gave us 4 stars, but I really liked the first episode of the podcast, the makers. And it says, I really like the first episode, this podcast, and makes me really interested. A few awkward pauses, he says, which is okay because, you know, sometimes we have issues. But I think these two have a great chemistry, and I feel the podcast will get better with time. Can't wait for the next episode, which is pretty encouraging. And, of course, Kevin, you and I have known each other for quite a while now, so I do respect the idea that we do have a fair amount of chemistry.
I think we do, too. We could almost be lovers. No.
My sword don't swing that direction, but it's okay.
But, yeah, I think we get along just fine. And I think that, and people can tell that, and they pick up on our banter back and forth, at least let alone in the guild when we go back and forth at each other and stuff.
Oh, always.
You know. So that's some housekeeping stuff. We want to do that. Definitely, we are going to ask for money again to help the podcast out. Head over to PayPal. Donate some money, or go watch my YouTube videos, because all that is going towards the podcast, which I did get an email through TGN the other day from the director that they're going to start rolling out pay material in the next couple of days. So we'll see how that I probably won't get a lot. I usually don't get a lot because I don't put out as much content as I used to. But whatever I get, I'm dumping right into the podcast. So
indeed. Well, and then one thing people have to understand is when it comes to a fledgling podcast like ourselves, not only are we investing as far as getting the items out there in bandwidth, but we're also investing the time as far as editing the podcast and getting the programs necessary. No one going into podcasting, and just a small side note, and then I'll shut up. No one going into podcasting understands exactly what you need to get. And as we get further into it, we are changing and adapting to what we have as opposed to what we thought we'd need. And then, of course, updating our programs and updating our software and even equipment, as in my Snowball here from Blue, just to make sure that it rolls out with the best possible quality.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is getting that, getting the fact that we did drop some money on audio equipment, and not just for the fact of the podcast, but just because it was good deals. I got mine for $50 at a pawn shop. The good quality mics just to have in general.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped a bill on my Snowball, but to be honest, it's an investment I haven't looked back on. I would have liked if the deal that I got from Amazon would have come with a slightly better set of headphones, but I'm getting my over-the-ear headphones from the GameCon version, like I used to have, replaced here shortly. Sudo's supposed to take care of that for me. But it's all investments that we would have made either way. It's just that as far as taking care of things like bandwidth and making sure that we're able to keep the podcast available to our listeners is the important thing, and that's the only reason we're talking about either picking up sponsors or even making sure to show us a little bit of love through PayPal or through Kevin's White Sword TV videos.
Yeah, and even with the stuff that we would get sponsors, we still got to put out top quality notch, which I think we do with our quality, because as long as we've both been listening to podcasts, we do good shit.
Yeah.
So that's I
understand.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on. Let's start out our week.
All right.
So how was your week, Dan?
Oh well, I did a little PvP at 50. It's making me feel mighty inferior. I actually posted a question shortly after hitting 50 when I went in. We were doing a bombing run, and I asked them. I said, "Well, do you guys find bounty hunters to be good healers?" And one of them said, went LOL, yeah, but not with 12,000 health. And I said, well, I just hit 50, so of course I don't have my gear together. I did have a chance to check out some of the Ilum fun. There is a main mission line before you get just the strict dailies. I got to that side where there was the PvP, where you're taking over the individual bases. That not as amusing as I was expecting. Basically, on I guess it's just the population difference in our server, where there's so many Imperials that we were literally standing outside the Republic base, basically daring them to come out and get slaughtered. So I gave up on my dailies for that and went on and did some PvP instead. I did want to mention that we do have 3 guildies heading towards top end. As far as their level cap goes, we got Vortex, Baby Rakat, Deathicon, and Spawn, all very quickly nearing 50. And of course, I wanted to make sure everyone knew that Lanyard had put together an video intro, in case we do future video casts for the podcast as little special items. You
mean I'm going to have to put clothes on to do this?
Well, I don't really want to put more than my wife beater and my underwear on either, but if we do go ahead and record this live one time, and then that way we have a video to show everybody the faces, or even possibly stream some game footage behind it, that, it's there. And he did a damn good job on there. Hopefully we can share that on YouTube under Kevin's White Sword page, and probably even list it under my Dedicar page as well, which, to be honest, I don't keep that up as well as I need to, but I'm hoping to get back there when I start doing my college work too. How was your week, Kevin?
Well, I had a good start. I was pumping Quest out, got off, stopped playing Minecraft for a little bit, and just was really pumping it out. Got to 49, and I came across a second class bug, where basically, so I had to go and talk to this guy. Oh no, the quest specifically said, go use your ship's intercom. And I was like, you know what? I just leveled. I'm going to go to the Imperial fleet. I'm wearing some 31, 32 gear, and I want to get some level appropriate stuff, because as I'm moving up a little higher, the mobs are starting to be a little harder. No, I can take them all down most of the time, but I still just want to get some decent gear going on.
Got to make it a little easier.
Yeah, so because the sorceress, she's just overpowered. So I go to the fleet, get all my stuff, jump on my ship, and it says head back to Hoth and use your intercom. And I'm like, okay, so I fly back to Hoth, and I see the triangle, and I go over, I click on the triangle, talk to the dude, the guy kissed my ass, wants to be part of me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you can be on my ship. Yeah, and so I'm just like, okay, and then I see the little circle swirly thing. I'm like, what the hell is that? I walk over, and it says, go talk to that guy you just talked to. And I'm like, oh, okay, I will go talk to him again. And could not talk to him. He basically gave me a pre-recorded speech about can't wait to work with me, blah, blah, blah. And so I was stuck in my class, and I was just like, screw it, I'm just going to goof off and send a ticket in. And I really don't like the ticket thing. I get some stupid response from F50021 Android, didn't understand your ticket. And I'm like, was I? And I was looking at it, I was like, that's pretty self-explanatory. So I wrote back, quest not complete, talk to wrong guy too early. Response, we have fixed your error, and you. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So that was fixed, and well, that was the thing too. Is like I didn't finish that quest, and it was sitting in my log, but it allowed me to move on to the next quest after that, where my Savon caught AIDS. I'd like to say AIDS. They say it's something else, but she did have sex one time, and I'm pretty sure it was unprotected. She's pretty feisty that way. And now I'm off seeking treatment because I'm decaying on the inside. I can control all the damn Sith ghost power I have. It's not that. I have AIDS. It's fucked up. I got space AIDS.
Yeah,
damn tweets.
I was working on my sorcerer the other day, and I was pissing this guy off, and I'm like, why am I losing affection? And then after I had finished my quest line, I think it was on Tatooine,
the pirate guy?
One of the, I don't know what it is, Adronis, I think his name is, or Adonis or some crap like that. And I'm sitting there pissing him off, and I'm like, what does it matter that I'm pissing him off? And, you know, of course, the wife looks over, and she goes, oh, that's I think that guy's your next companion. I went, oops. Oh, well, screw him. So I started off with negative affection with him. I'll just do like I did with my other characters and buy his love. That's perfectly fine.
There you go. Well, that's the thing. That's one thing I'm really looking forward to when they do add the same-sex stuff into the game. Is hooking up with my Jedi companion. I'm definitely bringing that girl over to the dark side.
Giggity. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's where sexy time is.
Well, and that's one of the things you told me, that you had done that one mission and you caught a guy, sneaking around basically, and you had to either take a bribe or just end his relationship with his companion. I was like, that's the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard of,
Yeah, that quest really bothered me. Man. Yeah, I didn't like that.
Well, that was supposedly part of the downfall of Anakin, was that he was in love with Queen Amidala, and that the passion that he embraced ended up being his unfolding, and that was kind of depressing. It was like, oh, so I got to live the life of a monk, completely celibate? Well,
I know. Like I was telling you, I went back and I'm rewatching all the movies, and right before the last part I actually watched in the game is with Anakin walking in, and those kids are like, what do we do? And it's just him, and he just drops his lightsaber, comes on. I'm like, oh, yeah. Child murder.
Well, and what the hell are all those kids doing at the Jedi Academy? They're like 8 years old.
Well, because they live. That's the thing. They get them there when they're born. There's probably some government, whatever the hell they call those things, Meridian Core or whatever, test that happens at birth. So they snatch them up when they're little babies.
Like that section in The Matrix where they're all sitting there at the lady's house. And there's little kids bending spoons trying to figure out which one's the next Neo. Meanwhile, 30-year-old, scrubby Neo comes out of nowhere, and they're like, oh, yeah, you're the one. You just don't know how to do jack shit. I get it.
Yeah. Because remember, there is no spoon. Ooh. I tried that shit. It don't work.
I tried it. I threw the spoon the hell away.
I picked that thing up, and yeah, I love those movies. Oh man!
So what do you got for this week, Kev? What did you decide to bring to the table this week?
Just talking about the bug thing. Just it's really annoying that when you come across that stuff in the game, and it's, was there not in all this beta testing? Why? And and I Google the bug stuff, and I'm like, okay, what this can't be something new. and I'd find 4 or 5 pages on Google of on a post about bug this, bug, and it's like, and it's not just me. And it's like when I was with that bug, I Googled exactly what was going on. Boom, just one page after another, and it was like 4 or 5 days posts that are old, so it's been out there. It's bugs like that. It should have been taken care of in the beginning, and that it's just frustrating when you see that stuff because come on, guys.
Well, do you think that it's a bug that can be worked? It doesn't have to be encountered, so maybe they tabled it for that. I mean, if you'd went to your holo terminal and immediately activated it, it would have been completely done with.
Well, okay, so the other bug I had, which I ended up finding answers on, because it was on what's the planet that blows up? Alderaan. I think I was on Alderaan, and it was to go to this section to catch a shuttle. I went to where the triangle thing was. No shuttle, and I'm like, I log out of the game. I log back in. I even went so far as to reboot my stupid computer, thinking for some reason that's going to clear it up. Nothing. I hop on Torhead, and it's just 20 pages of you have to go here. Here's a screenshot. The actual ship is here. I mean, so it's not just like.
So what you're saying?
This is something.
What you're saying is, in that case, it was the actual situation where the quest marker was wrong.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've come across now. Even on my bounty hunter, I haven't come across any bugs from the quest. And I mean, he is level 20. Same thing with my the Jedi, or not my Jedi, but my Sith warrior, my Juggernaut. I haven't come across any kind of quest bug. It's only been so far with the Inquisitor or the Sorcerer.
I don't know that it was a quest bug, but there was one mission on my bounty hunter, and I'm not gonna even try to remember what it was. Basically, it was a main storyline where I was on a ship and I had to take out a few guys. Well, I died, and I figured, well, I'm not going to take the risk here. I'm right in the middle of a bunch of traffic. I've died a couple times going through here, so I better repair. So I said, okay, well, send me to the med center. The med center ends up being ahead of where I needed to be. Oh, it was.
I've had that happen,
yeah,
too.
It's ahead of where I need to be. Well, of course, they say, oh, well, thanks for the submission as far as the ticket goes. And oddly enough, Pseudo, who we always josh on for being, the noob of the group, actually goes, well, honey, why don't you just go ahead and use your fleet pass? Well, luckily it was available. I got my fleet pass and then took got back on my ship and went back to where the mission was, because the mission was on one of the little ships, you've encountered here and there, and just, progressed all the way through and finished out the mission. But it was really, really irritating to know that I couldn't just go back through the door that was locked because I didn't kill the guy on the other side of the door. But then the med center they shoot me to, they could have shot me back to my ship as far as the med center went. Okay, I don't necessarily need that guy. We'll just push him back to his ship or whatever. Instead, they put me in a med center that's ahead of my current objective, which made no sense to me. And of course, I couldn't go forward. I couldn't go backwards. It was a little on the frustrating side, but we found a quick fix.
Yeah.
My thing is, and because we've played so many MMOs and we've played so many other games, what irritates me is that you get a canned response. I would like to see occasionally, at the very least once in a while, I'd like to see a ticket response where instead of having a droid email me via my actual Yahoo email that's, or, in-game mail, I would like to occasionally see a little purple flash and there's an actual game, what the hell do we call them?
Well, when I submitted my ticket yesterday, I had a green, where my question mark, it had a piece of mail symbol and a green question mark. So indicating that I got a response from an actual person.
Okay. Yeah, because mine, it's always been, 2 or 3 days later. But presumably with as many issues as are being found here and there in the game, I think that they're responding as fast as they can and trying to figure out which tickets are most important. I still haven't found anything, like I've said in previous episodes, I haven't found anything game-breaking.
Well, yeah, that too. It's more experience. Like you, okay, so I had that when I was rolling my Jedi, and I finally got to that, the first beginning, and you go to do your quests. You do the quest to assemble your lightsaber, which was actually really cool. It was, you're sitting there, you're raising your hands up in the air, and the pieces are the actual lightsaber is being assembled by you through the Force. Well, at the same time, there's this monster who you've woken up because of whatever you shook something, and he's slowly crawling down the mountain to come and kill you. After you get your lightsaber. Well, I really didn't know what I was doing at the time, so I just kind of was pushing buttons. He killed me. I didn't really know how the resin system, because it was actually my first tune, and I was like, okay, I'll go back to the med center, grab a pack thing, whatever, my health, whatever, and I go back to kill this guy. It's red, and it's like, I know it's dumb, but I've got my lightsaber now, but it's still like, I kind of missed on killing this guy as earning my lightsaber as a Jedi.
Right.
As dumb as that is, it was just like, I kind of wanted to do that. Well, I could have killed him. It was just, I didn't know what I was doing.
Just be happy that you get to assemble your lightsaber. I've got, 3 different Force wielders on the Sith side, and each and every time that I get my weapon, I either have to, go into some random-ass tomb and get a, stock weapon, or I'm gifted my weapon as far as my storyline goes from my Lord or Darth at that point, depending on when I get it. But, I don't know. Still, once again, not terrible, but it's interesting to see the difference in the storylines, too.
Exactly. And I know these are petty things to complain about, but it's the experience of, it's like, okay, I did a quest on my Inquisitor. It took me 4 or 5 times, but I killed the guy, and then I died, and it was still, the quest was completed. It was just like, was it really completed? Because I still kind of died. And, I mean, it's like, it's dumb little things, and I shouldn't complain, but I don't know. That was probably the most annoying thing this week, is just thinking about the random bugs I've run across on the Inquisitor, or on the Sorcerer. Why do I keep on saying the Inquisitor? Anyways,
by technicality, it starts out as the Inquisitor, and then you choose your direction.
But that's what I got. That's just been my thing lately, is just that.
Well, as I said last week, I was going to check into PvP. Now, I haven't gotten big on stats yet. But I've had a chance to play my Bounty Hunter and my Sith Sorcerer with healing in PvP. Now, obviously at 50, I've got to get a bunch of gear together, so my Bounty Hunter really does feel a little bit on the useless side, which is kind of disheartening. I did find, I was going through, I was like, oh, well, they've got the Cenarian gear, and they've got the Champion gear, and I wonder how that works. Well, apparently when you hit 50, you then use a combination of your commendation points and mercenary points to get additional bags other than just that of what you get through your daily PvP missions. Then you have a chance to get, this is fun, you have a chance to get marks and gear and what they call unassembled gear to turn in for other pieces of gear. It's a really kind of a convoluted system, but I do understand it. It makes the ability to gear up for PvP a little bit more of a challenge. Definitely coming in my PvE gear with level 48 and 47 patches on it was making me no threat to the group at 50. But, like I said, I've currently got, now 5 or 6 characters that I'm working on. And my other healer, which is my Sith Sorcerer, is able to do a lot of healing. It's a lot of fun. She even gets a bit of credit on kills, so I'm racking up medals on my Sorcerer fairly quickly, which is a lot of fun. And, of course, she's...
Not many healing options with her.
Well, actually, I recently got an additional one at level 30. So right now... and it's based on how you spend your points, because you get additional healing options based on the talent points expended. So,
well, at 39, I have 3 healing spells.
Well, you're set for DPS, correct?
No, I respect to do the last boss, or one of my quest or my class missions, to heal, and I was like, really? Only 3?
Well, that's weird, because on mine I have 4 healing spells in my bubble, so that's kind of bizarre.
Maybe I'm missing one I didn't catch.
You might want to check your abilities page.
Totally.
But my sorcerer is able to, sustain a fair amount of damage. She's able to dole out nice heals. I can keep 2 or 3 people alive for quite a bit of time unless I get stun locked. So that's a major plus. And of course I get mitigation, which adds to my medals in PvP by dropping down my static barrier, because it's good for at least 10 hits from an opponent. So unless they're getting bombed on by a group, I get protection points, I get healing points, and then because of the kills, I'm getting points for damage, and I'm getting points for kills. So all around, she feels really tasty. I mean, she's just awesome. And in comparison to my bounty hunter, who drops a few shields and might get some protector bonus, his healing at this point, because of his gearing, isn't anywhere near how awesome it is to heal on my sorcerer, who is 20 levels lower, which is really odd. Now, I went back and I had a Sith assassin that I'd been playing with for a while, because they don't allow you to change your primary decision after level 10. I have one that was set for the assassin spec, or the assassin tree, and then I have one that's set for the sorcerer tree. Well, I got bored with PvP on my sorcerer, because I'm like, I'm not really killing anybody, but I don't feel like healing anybody. Well, let me go play on my level 12. I got to, I think it's level 15, so now I have sprint, and I have a few extra spells. And I will admit, playing on that assassin feels very much like playing on my rogue. I come in, I use my shock, and then I just spin around and slap the hell out of anybody that moves. And that was just a ton of fun. I think I went from level 12 to level 15 in about 2 hours from nonstop PvP. So she feels overpowered as hell. There were a lot of people that were just confused, like, why the hell am I not dying? And it's because I'm using the lightsaber buff called Dark Force, which not only heals me, but increases my armor by 150%, and then applies a bleed effect more or less on them. So I'm killing them, I'm taking away their ability to use their force power, and I'm healing myself, all with the same smack to the head. It's really phenomenal.
Shit, that's actually pretty cool. That's why, I would love to try the other section of the sorcerer, but I don't want to re-roll and go through the entire story, and there's not enough PvP games out there to make me do straight PvP, because I just can't do Hutball anymore. It's boring, and it just gets old.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did, we got the group together, Lanyard, myself, Vortex, and Baby Rakad, as Pseudo's character is known. We went in and we did a few matches. I've got a audio clip we're gonna play we're gonna play a little into the podcast about a battle we did. We had done like 6 or 7 hut balls at the time, and we were like, oh god, not another fucking hut ball. And finally we got into an Alderaan war, and unfortunately the adage I told Pseudo back when we used to play WoW is true. If no one's talking at the beginning of the game, be ready to get destroyed. It's just, it's sad. Because that was the thing, when we were playing WoW, you'd go into Alteric Valley or you'd go into Arathi Basin, and you would have some people talking, but there wouldn't be a big communications thing going down. It's normally just joking around and giggling, where you go into Alderaan, the Alderaan War, and if there's nobody talking, even in the bombing run, still, that name never sticks with me, but the bombing run, if no one's talking, there's no one giving objectives, there's no one discussing it, you're doomed to fail.
Exactly. Because there's no communication, and if there is communication, what little sometimes you get is, fuck you, you fucking motherfucker, look at you, you got purple shorts, why are you wearing a white shoes? It's like, come on, are you serious?
Why are you wearing white shoes after Labor Day, you prick?
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we'll just go ahead and play that now.
Yeah, they got those two, and we'll be fucking balls lucky to get the other 2 back. You can stand over here all day, they ain't coming over here, bro. I don't fucking care about the enemy being unfucking beatable. There's like 50 at the center. You go over to the side, the 50 go over there. The 50 go back to the side. Oh, animalism TV. Kiss my ass.
Oh, shit. Oh, I occasionally see their guys respawning, so we're going 1 to 5 here at least. Holy shit. Oh, God.
Invincible.
An enemy is unkillable.
Soon, he's gonna be like 0 deaths at the end of this. Looks to be 3 people on the snow site now. Awesome.
You never know if anybody's invisible, though.
True.
I'm gonna hang out over here with you, Dad. I'm tired of fucking pissing around over there.
Okay.
It's completely fucking useless.
Was there anybody at mid?
What they're okay?
Yeah, like 20,000 people.
This is what they're doing. We gave up the snow side. Okay, so then everybody went to the middle, and then all died. So now all they're doing is the other team. All they have to do is slide from center to snow and keep us away from it. We won't be able to get those back. So it's pretty much a write-off unless they all of a sudden all lag out.
All right, hang out here. I'm gonna run over there.
I don't have a helmet. I'm too low. I'm too little for a. I'm dying. They're gonna get the other one now.
I left it for like 2 seconds. You fucking lost.
Well, only takes that much. I've got a fucking force wielder. All I've got is a fucking gun that I can't do anything with unless they're 50 fucking miles away from me. This person has like invincible armor. Yeah, they fucking lost it. Fuck this shit.
Wow, it took like 6 of them to take me.
So Vort, you taking notes? This is how you lose a fucking battle.
Yeah, I don't like this because it's like you just need to have, hey, let's have OP characters on OP armor and shit like that. You can't do anything. This is why I like Hutball better than that. You have a teammate that goes in there 1 at a time to their 4, and it gets like, hey, welcome to the gangbang party.
Exactly, and on top of that, it wouldn't be so bad. See, if you hold the 2 turrets and you fucking have people that guard it and don't play in the middle of the fucking road, then you'll win. I mean, as soon as you get people that are out battling in the middle of the road or saying, you know, hey, we got 2, maybe we can go get that 3rd one, that's when you lose.
Also, at the time, I didn't know we kind of had both.
Yeah. Well,
anyways,
it's all good. Fuck it, man.
I was holding snow, but then we got ass raped right off the bat. There's only me,
Tell me about
Pseudo, and
it.
one
Tell me
other.
about it. I was there. I was there, man. You don't have to fucking. I just know this. I can't believe they would leave this thing unfucking guarded. So there's got to be a damn rogue around here somewhere.
No, you're by yourself, bro. Sadly, I defeated someone on my way over here to visit you at the other turret that we lost.
I like how they make it so you can't stand up on the turret. That was pathetic.
I was number 1. Oh my god, that's fucked up.
Look at it. Look at their team. Okay, we killed 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
6 people.
We killed 6 fucking people the entire goddamn battle. Unfucking believable.
Oh, dude, that's nuts. So what are we saying? Come on, Hutball.
Actually, I have 5 kills alone. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have more than just 6 kills on our team. Most of them had to have left.
Man, that shit is so funny. Yeah, I love Brandon. I think he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I love his. I'm just gonna come and stand by you.
Yeah. Well, and you know, what I was doing was I'm a sorcerer. I went in and I was sitting there hanging out, and I said, you know, at the beginning of the match, I said, hey guys, let's go 50-50. Half go to snow, half go to grass. You know, and I thought for sure that once we had that basically people would be happy with the idea of just guarding, but instead they want to be the hero and they fuck it all up by trying to go mid. And what happened was, you know, the Republics realized that shit, they got left, they got right, all we got is this. And what they did was they zerged over to snow and just wiped the map off of them. And eventually Brandon got pissed and he's like, fuck, you know, screw it, I'm going to come and hang out by you. And I was like, okay, well, you go ahead and hang out here. And I blitzed over to the other area to help heal everybody. And sure as shit, he goes, well, we lost grass. And I was like, but, oh, fuck me. You know, and I left it like literally I was gone a minute and a half. I had just used force speed to get me to the other side of the turret and it was just horrible. It was a bad day for PvP all around. Here's your galactic news. Look what you missed while you were sleeping.
Let's do the news, man. Let's talk about what's going on and what's coming up.
Oh, well, we do have some exciting patch notes here.
Should I bring mine up here?
Oh, no problem.
I like the... I love that we're going to be able to do slash roll. Oh, my God. We're going to be able to generate numbers 1 through 100.
Yeah, slash roll. And, of course, it says generate numbers 1 through 100, but something tells me if we do like we did back in WoW and do, slash roll between 1 and 1,000, that it's sure to pop up again.
Yeah.
But it's good that they've got the roll system, because with the master loot and everybody raiding, you really want to be able to have a slash roll system to properly distribute loot.
I wonder if I'll be able to do roll hacks. Just stupid stuff. I would do the roll hack thing with I would do the 100, roll 100, and be like, oh, he won, and be like, lols. And I ended up giving it to the person who actually needed it, who actually won the roll. And it was just funny just to watch you're an idiot, can't you see? He typed 100. Made me happy.
I'm happy that they put the slash roll in there. What I am not exactly excited about yet, and maybe this will come in future patch notes, is the ability to trade. Within X amount of minutes of receiving the item, because that's happened before. There was a recent incident. I think it was with Deathicon, where he had gotten a piece of gear and he's like, "Oh my God, this is so much better than what I've got." Then he realized that it was heavy armor, and his Sith warrior wears medium armor because he's a marauder.
Yeah.
And, he was able to trade it because it was an artifact item, but inside of an instance or, a flashpoint, it would be nice to be able to trade off the item in case you screwed up. And that would be much more interesting. Now, there is something that, you were kind of upset about that they're actually taking care of, and I don't know whether or not it's great or not, but they're removing the Dark...
Is it that the French title Darth is now correctly? Because those French people, man, I know they were really worried about that.
They ran up to the local BioWare studio and started slapping the doors with baguettes and flinging French cheese.
Baguettes.
God knows goat cheese smells horrible on a window.
We want our Darth title to be correct.
But no, actually, it's a dark and light requirement on color crystals. So if you were a dark side Sith and you wanted a blue lightsaber, or you were rolling on a Jedi and you're like, oh man, I want a blue or a red one, and you just want it to feel a little different. They've actually removed the light dark requirements.
Yeah, I see that, and the thing I like about that is if, as an Inquisitor, or even if doing my Sith Juggernaut, I wanted to maybe I stole a Jedi's lightsaber, and now I have his blue lightsaber.
Well, and it would lend itself for PvP, for individuality. The crystals...
Well, and just for the very fact that you go to the goddamn auction house, and it's all fucking... one light good versus... there's 1,000 lightsabers on there, on our server, and not a single dark lightsaber. It's just pure good.
See, that's just it. It doesn't state that it's removing it from the devices. It's removing it from the crystals, so that's kind of haphazard. I do think it's funky, though, because, there's certain stats that go with either one of them, so to remove the light or dark requirement is kind of an oddball. Now, it did kind of light a fire up under Lanyard's ass. He said he thought it was a terrible idea, because the idea of, playing your character as dark or playing your character as light is integral to your character, and, your lightsaber really should kind of dictate that. Like, if the color of your lightsaber, no one on the dark side should really have a Mace Windu, purple penis lightsaber.
Oh, man, give me my purple, man.
Yeah, I thought it would be cool to have a black lightsaber, or I guess a white lightsaber with a black glow, or vice versa would be nice for...
Well, just under that, we both got the pre-order, and they're a new higher level black-yellow crystal can now be purchased.
Yeah, I will be jumping on all of my characters to see which one can use those, because I like the black-yellow. I did find a orange lightsaber from... it's the orange color crystal that was in the lightsaber when I purchased it from Tatooine, and I was joking around with everybody the other day when we were in PvP. I was like, look, I'm smacking people with a creamsicle. I
have an orange lightsaber, my Inquisitor, or my sorcerer, and I actually kind of like it. I like it because it's one you don't see a lot of. Like when I'm running around, everybody so far has red, or blue. It's like, oh, here's one that you don't really see as an orange. So I kind of like that.
And I see a lot of red. I see a lot of blue. I see a few yellows, but I hadn't seen any orange. So that was enjoyable. I did, however, change it out for another crystal because I didn't want extra power. I wanted more crit for my class, just so that my heals would crit more often. But it's either way. I think the power crystals really. I don't think the color requirements or the light dark side requirement was really necessary as far as the color crystal goes. I don't see a huge problem with it. I do see a small issue with the fact that it sounds like this was such a minute item and they're already kowtowing to it. But once again, presumably they're addressing larger issues in a much better fashion than they are some of the tiny issues. And from a programming standpoint, I can understand, let's just take care of this, be done with it, as opposed to, why listen to these people bitch and moan about it. It's such a stupid item anyway. Fuck it, let's fix it.
Well, and I love to, I guess my video that I did finally got that fixed. With the portable holodancer now once again displaying the correct visual effect.
Oh, dude, I like the idea of screwing with people to think I had a third companion out. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was doubling down.
Because she made those noise, like, she'd giggle at you.
Yeah. It was a bit distracting, but it was funny and the same. Now, see, what's got me excited, to be honest, screw the holodancer, because I could give a poop less about that. What I'm happy about is that they're saying that several of the high-end speeder models have temporarily reduced in price. Now, I'm happy with that because I don't like the idea of paying $25K for them. However, I don't like the fact that they reduced the price of the speeders. Instead, I would have rather, if anything, to maybe reduce the price of the training. I mean, at 50, money seems to flow from the heavens, even without, monopolizing the auction house. But I would have liked to see a reduction in that. I think 310 is still a bit odd, for a 10% upgrade, 10 levels later. That's really not huge for me. And there's so many people, it's obvious that it's not a big expenditure for a level 50 because there's so many people already out there who are driving the massive ass, speeders that, as I said earlier today, I don't see a necessity for the massive speeders that only seat one person. If they sat, an additional person, maybe. But there was
which would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, the speeders were smaller in Star Wars, and there were we had Luke and Obi-Wan and R2-D2 and C-3PO all in one speeder on Tatooine. But I drive around the Imperial fleet, which is fucking huge, which definitely needs at least the little speeder bikes, but I don't see the point of the Land Cruiser speeder in the middle of the...
Yeah, it is weird to see that in the fleet ship. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You're just being an ass, really, when it comes down to it.
I mean, the Segway size one I could understand, but the super speeder is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I personally think, the fleet should be no speeders because it's bad enough. Like it took how long in WoW before they finally got around to blocking it so people couldn't dump their mounts on top of mailboxes.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I've run across that here, but it does happen when I'm trying to get a vendor and the guy with the Lincoln is parked on top of the guy. It's just like, come on, guy.
Well.
Put your gold rims away. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then the last thing, which is kind of an oddball item, I don't even understand quite this one, but the shader complexity preference now supporting very low option. Like, why? Huh? Who had such a shitty graphics card that we had to throw that one out there? I mean, the high settings aren't nearly as high as they were in beta, and they're already dummying them down. I mean, the world looks beautiful on my computer, and granted, I probably have a slightly above average rig, but give me ultra settings and let me be happy. Don't throw out something like that.
Well, speaking of settings, here on World PvP in Oldham, they put in those two big laser turrets that they're not going to be firing into the air anymore. Did you notice any lag with those lasers going off?
To be honest, Ilum in general, at least in the PvP section, is laggy all around.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have some epic-looking battles. You have AT-ATs and tanking machines going around, and that's pretty cool. But the problem is they're always firing. There's always something going on at that point. So you have it's 4 basic fight zones. At either end, you of course have your Republic or your Imperial base, and then there's 2 additionals in between. I guess 3 technically at that point, because there's a northern fighting post or fighting zone. There's the southern fighting zone, which is shortly before the Republic base, and then there's the mid. And there's a bit of lag all over. I mean, I have no connection issues. I have no graphical issues. But when I got down to the Republic base finally, it was. I don't know if it was because of the amount of people, because there was probably about 40 or 50 Imperials there, and maybe 20 Republics standing inside the base, and it was nearly impossible to even target someone in some cases before they died.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And that's never fun. I hate that.
Yeah. One of the things that I find kind of odd is, when we did a lot of things in World of Warcraft, I'm trying to remember the little PvP zone they set up there in Northrend that was basically...
Oh. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And, you go there, you didn't have to be in a group necessarily until the battle started. But, with this, everyone's basically joining an ops group and standing out and farming. And it's a great honor game, and they have put a few things in place to keep people from really, abusing it and just farming people nonstop. But it was kind of depressing because I could just imagine, and, I know we call the podcast is SithTalk, but we are kind of playing both sides of the field as far as the gameplay goes. When, you look at it from a Republic standpoint, and even if it was, the tables were turned on us, and suddenly we were the...
Wintergrass. That's what it was, sorry.
No problem. But when we go there, and there's so many Imperials in contrast to the amount of Republics that are there, that it's kind of unfortunate because all they're doing is, going, okay, well, I just want to get out and do my daily, and as soon as they come out, they're just slaughtered. They're having to find other ways of, basically manipulating the boundaries of their base just to get the hell out of there and do their dailies. And I'm not real big on that. I'm a world PvPer. If I see somebody in the world and, I have a chance to take them down, I probably will. If they engage me, it's a definite that I'm going to try to take them down. But with this, you literally have a situation where, you're coming from your group, you're coming from your end, I'm coming from mine, and if one of us has more than the other, it's immediately pointless to try to do anything.
Yeah.
And really, to be honest, the questing there is... well, do we have any more news, and then I can go back on the ranting?
Nothing really. More just the operations are going to be fixed. The Eternity Vault, nothing really big. That's really about it.
All right. I guess that wraps up news, but like I said, as far as Ilum goes, I see some things that as a player in general, I'm not super happy with. Not that it detracts from my gameplay, because at 50 you still have 2 or 3 different planets you can go back and do dailies at. I believe there's some dailies in Belsavis as well as a few others, and at that point, okay, it makes sense. You go out, you do your dailies. But as far as Ilum goes, Ilum is kind of a joke. There's the basic questing area, and you may or may not run into somebody of the other faction, whereas they have their main PvP area literally set to the side of Ilum, and that area, I'm not really impressed with it. I also picked up, the level 50 dailies, and they're pick up 150 resources, but there's no resources that I've seen, like nodes that you can pick up. You're pretty much going out and trying to kill, 30 of the other faction, and within a week kill 150 or something like that was the other mission. And I thought, well, that's kind of, gooberish. There's other ways to do it. And I don't like the fact that, granted, they're considered PvP dailies, but I don't know. The dailies in WoW made more sense. They were a little bit more cumbersome, but they made a little bit more sense. And maybe the ones on Belsavis or some of the other planets will be more in line with what I'm used to.
Yeah, I really need to get off my ass and really push it out and get up there at 50. Because I kind of want to do some of the... I was never a daily person. I mean, I did grind the tournament because I needed to have my pets.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's really about the only days I really can handle. Because I don't like to do the dailies as, this is your daily, do it over and over and over. The same one over and over every day. It's like, fuck this.
Well, the only person I think that we can agree probably did dailies religiously was Blue Rose back in the day.
Yeah.
So there's...
We love you, Blue. Come back.
Yeah, we definitely miss Blue. And I miss my cookies this Christmas, which made me a sad panda.
Yeah, me too.
But, the dailies in World of Warcraft were, go here, do this, do X amount of missions. I did see a situation where, and this is throughout questing, of course, across all of my characters, there are some interesting things where they try to push the idea of world PvP, but once again, with all the shards that we talked about last week, I don't think it's going to even make a big deal that you're that close to the other group's, main spawn facility.
Yeah.
Which is, once again... I guess it might be nitpicky. I'm not entirely sure, but I have been encouraged to play my Sith assassin based on her PvP performance. I'm working on leveling up Hot Chocolate. I got him to level 5 the other day, and I think I will end up doing the segment for our show for that because unless we get somebody who's got a cooler submission. Which I'm happy to hear from. But right now I'm thinking that I'm going to do the Hot Chocolate and just follow the Chronicles of Hot Chocolate, the Imperial Pimp. And as he levels up...
Imperial Pimp, I love that.
Once he levels up and gets off of Hoth, we'll basically have the groundwork for Stage 1 and just move from there bit by bit. I am waiting to purchase Mixcraft as a whole so that I can start making that music, because I thought about it, and the music for it really should be some 70s blaxploitation style music. And
oh man,
oh yeah, I want some Shaft style bad jazz.
Oh yeah, it's... I don't know if that's worse than what I just clicked on.
Waffles.
Yeah, don't ever hit surprise me on the Wikipedia section when you're looking up Star Wars stuff, because you ended up in freaking Twilight wiki.
Oh God.
Yeah. We should. I should ask you the question here. Which part did you like the most from Breaking Dawn? The wedding, the honeymoon, Jacob's goodbye to Bella.
The big explosion where they were both shot in the head. That movie is terrible.
I don't think that was actually in the movie.
Oh darn! Well, that's why it sucked. But I have talked to a few more friends, and it looks like right now, they were talking about getting Star Wars: The Old Republic, but they're really worried that it's going to overshadow the fact that Mass Effect's coming out, and that's one thing. I'm wondering how that's going to affect the player base, if we're going to see any drop in players because of the fact that Mass Effect is out, and the great storyline that BioWare's brought us in this game is also in that one.
Yeah.
In my case, I didn't play 1. I did play all the way through 2. I did that twice. So I'm beginning to think that if I get that one, I don't know if it's going to detract. But I've got college classes starting up in March, so that's going to hinder a little bit of my game time. But I'm a natural multitasker, and hopefully I'll be able to get a second monitor so I can do my quizzes while I play Star Wars.
Well, I heard that if you roll a female trooper, you will hear what female Shepard sounds like.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so you can get a sneak peek of what her style of doing stuff.
Well, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
But right now, I've blown through 50 levels on one character. I'm working on 3 other characters simultaneously, so it's kind of a bit of a drag.
Yeah.
My Juggernaut's still strictly PvP and Ops. That's another thing. We talked about LFG last week, and I wanted to touch a little base about that because I threw myself in the LFG and my Bounty Hunter because I was spamming trade going, listen, I'm trying to get into some Ops, trying to get into some Flashpoints. I'm putting together some information for my podcast. I'd really like to see how it runs, blah, blah, blah. And basically, you have to spam trade nonstop. Or as a healer, you basically have to beg for a tank to be able to get a group together. And that was just terrible.
I told you, man. Looking for group is what this game... You know what? It's that thing that... And there's tons of little things in this game that just really aren't acceptable. And I'm not saying you got to copy WoW. Rift has a looking for group. Other games have a lot of the features that WoW has.
Yeah.
And I know people hate to hear it over and over again that it's a new MMO, but it literally came... It's acting like it's a new MMO around the same time WoW came out.
Well,
there is a standard that is set now, and I think it should be followed. And for it to not, okay, as dumb as it is, the fact that we're getting slash roll. I mean, I never even thought to try it, but why wasn't that in the beginning? Why is that even added to the? It's a come on, guys.
Well, I think a lot of the game, when as far as the initial build goes, they figured it would take people longer to get to level 50, that they would have more time to flesh it out. That shows in the fact that in the PTR you weren't able to copy characters or have pre-made characters. You basically have to start from scratch and re-roll. As far as what they're doing with the PTRs, and they were thinking that here's a bunch of people playing the game. They're probably not going to level out faster, and being that they came from the world of making RPGs as opposed to MMOs. They may have been a bit misunderstood or misexpected of what the player base would do, because it's obvious that the player base is going to, haul ass all the way up to top level and then look at what in-game looks like.
I don't know if that's a good enough excuse for them.
Well,
I think. Well, I don't think it's good, because I think it's that thing where it's. MMOs have been around. I mean, if you look at all the top MMOs that are out there, we got Lord of the Rings Online. We got, City of Heroes for what it was still pretty good. EverQuest 1 and 2, Rift. There's a lot of stuff out there that was pretty much already established, and they couldn't even, steal anything from anything else. I mean, come on, that's what it's about: is taking other people's technology and using it for yourself.
Right. And but see, I don't know if it's an excuse or just a reasoning in my eyes, but for me, it's one of the things where I look at it and I say, okay, well, yeah, they're missing these things, but from BioWare's perspective, they thought they had enough content to keep people, fairly busy up to level 50. They probably didn't expect as many people to have topped out in level as they did, as quick as they did. I mean, to be honest, I think it took me about, and I'd have to do a slash play, but it probably took me the equivalent.
Are you sure that's in the game? Because they might not have added that.
No, slash played, oddly enough, is in the game.
We got slash play, and we don't have slash roll.
Well, I checked that out
bullshit.
in the I checked that out in the beta, because I was trying to figure out how long it took me to get to level 10 and this and the other. And when I got to level 50, I think it took me the equivalent of 3 weeks of complete play to hit level 50. And, that's assuming that you play for 24 hours, for 3 straight weeks. And if you can do that, God bless you. I have enough trouble, waiting to take a leap.
Fucking ass would be killing you.
Ass would be killing you. You'd be half asleep,
Yeah.
You would have forgotten what food looks like, and there'd be many innocuous jars around your table, or I guess game fuels laying around the table. But that's one of the things where now we're coming into, at least in my case, I'm coming into end game and I'm trying to make things work. It was frustrating because I basically put it out there, that I'm a new 50, I'm a healer, do you need me, can you use me? And it was fun to, see what the responses were. There were plenty of ops groups trying to get together for flashpoints and, ops groups for the raids on Ilum, but then you come back to the fleet and there's nothing. And of course, I'm an idiot. I haven't done any flashpoints since Black Talon. So here I am thinking that all of these flashpoints are level specific, but they're only level specific so far as to say that if you're X, Y, and Z level, you need to go and check these out. Once you hit 50, most of them have hard modes, so you can go back and play through what was the initial, Flashpoint in a harder fashion, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there like, oh, I'm looking for Boarding Party and Foundry. Sure, why not? And then I see someone else scroll, flashing a scroll for an advert for hard modes. And I'm going, well, I don't want to do hard modes. That sounds ridiculous. I just want to do the regular. Then I get in and find out, oh, it's a level 38 on regular. Well, shit on me,
Yeah.
And I felt like kind of a goober, but see, that's one of the things that I don't mind. I don't mind feeling like a noob occasionally in a game that I'm actually new to.
Yeah, and and that's okay. People can just get over if they're going to give you a hard time for not knowing. It's like, look, that's a game. It's still the game. The game is not very old. It's still pretty new, so it's okay that we can get away with not knowing everything right away.
Indeed, but I don't know. I know we're probably nearing an hour or so here, so go ahead and call it quits at this point. Kevin, as we usually do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Just the YouTube channel at youtube.com/whitesword. Watching and liking my videos also helps the podcast without having to donate anything. I do live stream. I've been doing a lot of Minecraft. If you like the game Minecraft, Twitch TV /Whitesword TV. I'm usually out there live streaming Minecraft PvP. Other than that, that's really it. I mean, you can come and join us in our guild. We're always looking for people. We're a very social guild. We spend a lot of time in vent just BSing and playing over on Port Nowhere. Guild Wookiees Taste Like Chicken.
Yeah, and I've actually I've gotten a few responses from that. Everyone argues that we spelt Wookiees wrong, and I said, well, if you can figure out Star Wars diction, God bless you. Spell it how you want to and make another guild dick.
Yeah. Or I love the, how are we supposed to take you serious with a name like that? I'm like, really? Oh, and then you're in Java stole my bike? Okay.
Java stole my speeder. And that's another thing.
Don't try to tell me that I'm not serious when you're in just as goofy guild name as I am.
Listen, it's a game. I'm not trying to be serious. It's what I do to relax. The podcast is what I do as an adjunct to my enjoyment of a game. If you want to take me seriously, cool. If you want to take me as a joke, I don't really give a squirt. I pay my $15 and, then some as far as, taking care of the podcast. But in my case, I've got, the Universal Hate Machine, which is slowly making up the ranks in Podomatic. And, of course, anybody who wants to jump over to iTunes and download us, subscribe, post a 5-star review would be awesome. I'd love to be one of the new and noteworthies on the front page one day.
Oh, no, because we don't got the money to cover that right now.
Well, hey, maybe we'll get new and noteworthy and one of us will run into money. I've got a little bit of money here coming up. And, of course, I told Sue that once we get our secondary tax return in, I'm going to set up a little bit of a recording studio for doing the 2 podcasts. Which, of course, means I've got to build another computer, so I'll have 4 computers in a house where there's only 3 humans. But, thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks for your downloads. Please feel free to drop a comment at iTunes or on Podomatic.com. Send us an email at SithTalk.com. Follow us at SithTalk on Twitter.
At SithTalk@gmail.com.
SithTalk@gmail.com. And then, of course, we've got our Twitter account as well, at SithTalk. Just throw us out. If you like us, share us to your friends on Facebook. Suggest us. And just let us know what you think of the podcast, if there's anything we can do better. I also was spamming the general chat while I was on the Imperial Fleet the other day. We're always looking for submissions, whether or not you have an angle on PvP or, you're an RP or you'd like to suggest some of your RP, your RP stylings. Anything would be great, and of course you'll get definite credit for it.
So I guess that's it.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Sith Talk. White Sword and I would like to thank you for joining us. You can find us at facebook.com/Sith Talk. Follow us on Twitter at Sith Talk, and feel free to send us your questions and comments at SithTalk at freeplaymusic@gmail.com. Thanks goes to Podomatic.com, our podcast host, Free Play Music and Music Alley for our music. And until next time, remember, peace is alive. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.